Okay, so a quick revision of how to solve equations with two slightly simpler examples, A and B, and then we'll do some two harder ones then, which would be C and D. So we'll just revise the basic skills using two simpler examples first of all. So looking at A, we've got 3x minus 5 equals 25. So whenever we're solving equations, no matter how complicated they are, our end goal is always the same. We want the letters on one side and the numbers on the other. So we have to keep moving things around, making sure we keep the two sides balanced until we've got just letters on one side and just numbers on the other. So looking at this then, the first thing we can spot is we're going to have to get rid of this minus 5 first. That's our first aim, is to get rid of the negative 5. So we've always got to do the opposite. So because it's negative 5, take away 5, we do the opposite and we add 5. Okay, so then that means that these two will cancel. Okay, however, because we've added 5 to one side, we also have to add 5 to the other. So that leaves us with, on this side, because these twos cancel, just 3x here. And then on the other side, 25 plus 5 gives us 30. So 3x equals 30. The next number we're going to try and get rid of is this 3 here. Okay, so this means times 3 multiplied by 3. So to get rid of it, we have to do the opposite and we have to divide by 3, which will cancel that out there. Because I've divided by 3 on one side, I have to divide by 3 on the other as well. So on this side, these cancel off, just leaving me with x. And then on this side, 30 divided by 3 gives me 10, which gives me a final answer of x equals 10. Right, question B then, we've now got x divided by 3 equals 12. So this is actually only a one step, just one step for this question, but it's getting that step right. So we know we're going to have to get rid of this 3 here, and this is where people make mistakes. Because this at the moment is dividing by 3, to get rid of that 3 we've got to do the opposite, which means we've got to multiply by 3. And because I'm multiplying this side by 3, I also have to multiply this side by 3 as well. Okay, so these will cancel out, so all I have left on this side is an x, and on the other side 12 times 3 is 36, so x is equal to 36. Two slightly harder ones now because we've got x's on both sides, we've got letters on both sides, so it's going to take a few extra steps. So the first thing you need to decide is, right, which side do I want my x's on and which side do I want my numbers on? And the easiest thing to do is whichever side at the moment has the largest number of x's is the side you want to get your x's to, just because it avoids using negative numbers. So you've got 5 x's on this side, 2 x's on this side, which means that this side has the most x's. So let's make this side the side I get my x's on, and this side I'm trying to get my numbers on. So that means that I want to get rid of all the x's from this side and all the numbers from this side. And it doesn't matter, it's up to you where you want to start. So I'm going to start with trying to just get rid of the x's from here. So at the moment, this is positive 2x, it's adding 2x. So I'm going to do the opposite and take away 2x from this side. Because I've done it from the right side, that means I've got to do it from the left side as well. So what I'm going to have here then is 5x take away 2x. So 5x take away 2x leaves me with 3x. But then this is where you've got to make sure you don't make a mistake. I've still got that plus 2 there as well. So I'm left with 3x plus 2 on this side. On the other side, these two, just like we wanted to, cancel each other out. So all I'm left with is just that 17. Now this now looks like something very similar to we solved on the first page. something that looks a bit easier to work out. So I want to get my x's on this side, so I'm going to have to get rid of this plus 2 by doing the opposite, which is minus 2. So these two cancel out, so all I'm left with on this side is 3x, and on the other side I've got 17, take away 2, which leaves me with 15. Final step, need to get rid of this 3. At the moment I am multiplying by 3, so I need to do the opposite of multiplying by 3, which is dividing both sides by 3. Now these cancel each other out, so all I'm left with on my left side is an x, and on my right side I've got 15 divided by 3 gives me 5, so my final answer is x equals 5. Final question then, D. A little bit harder again, in that before we start solving this, we're going to have to expand both sets of brackets. So, expanding this side first, I'm multiplying everything inside by positive 3. So that's just going to give me 3x plus 3 times 4 is 12 equals, on this side, everything inside multiplied by positive 5. So that's going to give me 5x minus 10. Okay, so again, being really careful of the negatives. Now we've got something that looks very similar to part C. So we're going to have to decide, right, which side do I want my x's on, which side do I want my numbers on. So again, this side has more x's, so it makes sense to get my x's on this side and my numbers on here. Now, this is completely down to you and your personal preference. A lot of people like to have the side with a number of x's, the side you can have x's on the left-hand side, just because that's what seems most natural. Because it's an equal sign, you're completely allowed to rewrite this like this, and just switch the two around if that seems more natural to you. Completely fine, because it's an equal sign, it doesn't matter. So now I'm trying to get my x's on this side and my numbers on this side. So all I've done is just swap these two around, because quite often that's the way we like to do things. You don't have to though, it's completely up to you. Okay, so I want my x's on this side, which means I don't want any x's on this side, so I've got to get rid of this positive 3x. Opposite of adding 3x is subtracting 3x. So that means I've also got to just subtract 3x from this side. So I'm going to have 5x take away 3x, which leaves me with 2x. And then I've also got this minus 10 that I've got to remember to add back in as well. Here, 3x minus 3x, so these cancel out. So all I'm left with here is just positive 12. Now we're just sort of left with the sort of equation you've been solving since year 7. So again, I don't want my numbers on this side, so we'll get rid of the minus 10 by doing the opposite, which is adding 10. So I've got to add 10 to both sides. These two cancel out with each other, so all I'm left with here is 2x. On the other side, I've got 12 plus 10, which gives me 22. Final step, need to get rid of this 2. At the moment I'm multiplying by 2, so I have to do the opposite, which is to divide by 2. So these 2's cancel, so all I'm left with on this side is an x, and on this side I've got 22 divided by 2, which is 11. So your final answer is x equals 11.